Not quite sure what that'll attract to see. But
I don't know. That's my freaking... What up, everybody? Fueled up on this didgeridoo and Utica coffee. It is EC Radio time. We're live on all Disruption Network social media platforms, and you can follow along later on at your leisure, whenever the hell you want, at disruptionnetwork.net. Before we get into anything, much love to my friend over at EJA Moving Services, Eddie Alsheimer. You're a gem of a human being, and
What's
I love
up,
you
Eddie?
very much. You right? See, Vinny's giving you a shout out too. Eddie, thank you so much for all you do here around Disruption Network. You can hook up Eddie at ejamoving.com. He'll move you pretty much wherever you need to go. If you want to move to Saratoga and live with Vinny, he will move you to Saratoga and you can live with Vinny. He's going to charge you rent though. But anyways, ejamoving.com. They're the best moving service you could possibly get around here. That's for damn sure. Nobody better. Also, much love to my friend, attorney Dave Longaretta. If you need legal help, give him a call at 315-735-6162. And, of course, big, huge shout out to my friends and somebody that Vinny is no stranger to as well, and that's the Saranac Brewery. And big shout out to Damon dropping off a couple cases of the green tea seltzers for me just yesterday. So,
hey, Damon, next time you're in Albany, make a stop over here. My wife and kids love them and go through them pretty quick.
Do you like the seltzers? Have you tried them?
I don't like them. I mean, the green teas are the best ones I've had yet. I don't like the Trulies or the Claws or any of that. They have a weird taste to me. The Truly lemonades are better than a lot of the other stuff, but the green tea seltzers are the only things that I can drink. They don't have any of the weird, like, malty, weird flavor that I hate so much.
Right. You know what I love about them? No hangover.
No hangover, and they're freaking light. They're refreshing.
Especially on a hot summer day at Club Amico. I'm glad you took your shirt off, Vin. I'm looking for numbers today, so thank you for taking your shirt off.
Doing as best I can. I got to work out a little. I'm getting a little flabby, but, you know.
Hey, it's what happens during quarantine, right? You've been eating a lot, drinking a lot during this whole lockdown bullshit?
Yes, I have. Both.
Yeah.
I've been
cooking a lot too, huh?
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of landscaping, which when I do that, I don't need to exercise because it's 6 or 8 hours of straight busting your balls work. It's all labor, all hard shit all day long. So I don't usually I drop about 5 to 7 pounds and gain all this muscle by just working and not doing anything else. So I'm kind of there right now, although this week I haven't done anything. So I'm like, it's all up here, man. I feel flabby if I'm not like burning 1,000 calories a day.
Totally. Well, you're an active son of a bitch. That's for damn sure, man.
No, never.
And speaking of being active, you've got a full day today because after this, you're teaching a cooking class.
Yeah. LiveLessonMasters.com.
So, Vin, a little birdie told me there might be a cookbook in the future. Is this true?
Well, we just talked about that yesterday. Paul's like, I got to start printing your recipes, and he's starting to do what my brothers and I did to my father, me mostly. But and anytime he's like calls me or texts me, he's like, hey man, what do you do here? Or how do you do this or whatever? And then he's like, we got to start thinking about putting some of your recipes out online. And I'm like, maybe, because he's been kind of getting on me about the book, and I've just been like, yeah, maybe, I don't know. And then he said that to me yesterday or the day before, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's time we start thinking about doing this book. So, and because people actually have been pretty heavily tuned into the cooking stuff, that maybe I actually could do it. Maybe if we publish it right, we could actually maybe sell a few of them and even make a couple bucks.
Absolutely. And you got some time right now to put it all together. Vin,
right.
Did your parents own the St. Anthony's cookbook?
I don't think they did. I don't know. My mom,
I felt like that was a staple in all the Italian neighborhoods.
My mother used the Romagnoli's cookbook. The Romagnoli's table was her go-to for Italian. My father didn't use the cookbook. He just cooked. He's part of the old East Utica, so he actually those recipes came from Italy, and those are all just like his mother just cooked the way she cooked in Italy, My mom has stories. She remembers, of course I can't talk to my father, but she tells me stories about my grandmother and what Sundays and like how she used to do the bread and how she used to do this. And she made good bread because she left it out on the windowsill, and there was something about the humidity at certain times of year that was really good for Italian bread. Like just these weird things, but it was like she did it every time, and it was always like the best she had, you know.
Speaking of your mom, growing up Italian, what's the craziest thing? What's the strangest object she beat you with?
Well, my mother is Dutch and Welsh, so
she's not Italian.
No, she beat me with her. She beat me with her hands.
I got you.
She didn't hit me with stuff. She would swing first. Like she'd swing before we even did anything wrong. Sometimes if we said something funny, she'd swing. The times I would get in trouble, she'd spank us, and she was pissed. So she'd hit us hard, and then like she'd be like, you know, when all the dust cleared, her hands were all purple, and she's like, "Guys made me bruise my hands." We made her bruise her hands by her hitting. So it wasn't often, but when she got mad, she hit, and it wasn't with any object. It was straight hand. So, and then after a while, you know, we were bigger and stronger. She'd hit us and we'd laugh at her, which was even worse. No, we were afraid of my mother. We still are, but we'd laugh at her if she tried to hurt us with her hand. It just wasn't happening.
You know, I was freaking out the other night, man. I wanted to text you, but I ended up texting you when I saw that documentary on Jimmy Wormworth.
Oh yeah,
that was an amazing documentary. Your dad's featured in there a bunch of times, and so I like the right.
I saw it
right in the. Go ahead.
I think my brother Greg had sent it over to me. He got it somehow, so we watched it. Yeah, I mean, Jimmy and my dad grew up together, and they were good. Like, I don't know if they were best friends, but they were good friends. You know, so. Actually, the Florentine pastry, the pasty recipe from the Florentine that's in my dad's cookbook came from Jimmy Wormworth's mother, who I don't know if she lived above the Florentine or she dated it was something. She's like, I think because she's Italian, she was like she was Italian from East Utica. She might have been related to the Florentine or something, because I have that recipe, and it came from Jimmy's mother.
Wow, no doubt.
Yeah. So. And
then Jimmy's daughter's a badass too, playing with the B-52s and Sting, and oh my God, her resume is unbelievable.
Yeah, she was the band leader for the Rosie Show for when the Rosie Show was on. So she was on TV being a band. You know, when there was only a few people doing it, she was one of them. She did it for Rosie's show. So, but yeah, she started in the Waitresses. Remember that band?
No.
The Waitresses. What were they had a couple of hits. One was
I'm sure if I heard a song.
The Christmas song, but they had what was shit, it's in my brain. I can't think of it. I'll get by the end of the interview, it'll just come to me and I'll be like, ugh, and I'll spit it out. But they did that Christmas. One, yeah. But they also
Christmas rapping.
Yeah, they had what was their freaking?
I know what boys like.
Nah, it wasn't that. It was something like that. It was the early MTV. So anyway, she was in the Waitresses. Then I think she was with Kenny. What the hell was his name? Anyway, one of the Sting bands. She was dating the keyboard player, and then she got the gig as the bass player, and then he died, and then Sting changed up bands. So Kenny Kirkland, I think his name was.
So, interesting.
I haven't seen Tracy in years. I haven't seen her since I was a kid, but my brother keeps in touch with her, and I know he keeps up with, so she knows that we're all kind of in the business. So, and her brother, Jimmy's son, Nico, was the sub for Max Weinberg for a while on whatever show that was. What show was Max the drummer for?
One of those late night television shows.
Yeah. So
we're no good at this. Conan O'Brien.
Yeah. So
thank you. You got a fact checker over there?
I know. No, the funny thing is Conan probably hasn't been on NBC, and it's probably been 6 or 8 years, and we don't know because it seems like it was yesterday. So it's tough to even be able to keep days straight anymore.
Right. Well, today is Blur's Day, right? Is that what they refer to it as? Blur's Day. Happy Blur's Day.
Tomorrow is the thing is that those the Mo crew calls.
Oh yeah.
I get freaking hammered every Friday, and
I've noticed.
My Saturdays are ruined usually. Like I wake up and I'm like, I don't remember getting off the call. I don't remember what we talked about at the end, and then I'm just like, it takes me half the day to get my shit together enough to do anything.
Well, I've been on a couple of them, and it's quite interesting. They're definitely highly entertaining. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. Well, I think they start out slow and boring until I jump on and Deb and I start arguing, and then before you know it, other stuff happens, and then they get interesting, and then we leave. We're like, we're out of here, and then they probably stay interesting or get more interesting after we leave. So we just get tore up on tequila shots.
Right. Everybody drinks tequila. You've been doing a lot of these Zoom calls. Are you doing one-on-one lessons too? That's a thing.
Yeah, I do both drums and the cooking stuff. Mm-hmm. So keeps me busy. I'm not doing this. I mean, I know there's guys out there doing 10 a day, 10 a week or something like that, or even more. I don't. I get a couple. I actually get more. I get more cooking lessons on the Zoom than I do drums. I do have a couple privates, and usually I'll like do a couple on the Zoom and then take them to private if they're interested in keeping going. So.
Yeah. Do you have any creeps on these Zoom calls, like trying to whip out their dick at you or something? Or
I don't get no. I know. I pretty much. Thing is, like, people don't give a shit about me. See, I'm just a dude. So
I do. That's false. I do. So I 100% care about you.
The people that I get, like, I don't have any like weird fan people. Everybody I get are just people that I know, and they're like that I've talked to over the years about cooking or about drumming. So they call me, then we can just get into it in a little more personal level than just being at a show and me going blah, 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 for an hour. And then we can actually get a little bit of focus. So
totally. So what you're saying is Rob is the one that gets all the pee-pee flashers.
I would imagine so. Yeah. Well, I don't know what happens at Al's parties there, but.
Yay, you never. That's the whole way these Zoom calls have been going. It's pretty interesting, man. It's definitely changed the way we were communicating. That's for sure.
It's interesting to me that I wouldn't do it in the first place. Probably that the hangs, whatever. I don't know, because I think you're charging money for people to hang out with you. That's weird to me. But on top of it, that's where like it gets weird. I think Rob, like it's a small talk session, so you have to sit there. It's easy for you and me to communicate via this way because we're friends and we, have tons to talk about. You get two strangers on there that you don't know or that are big fans, and they're sitting there going, "Oh my God," and you're just sitting there like, "So how's it going?"
Right? Yeah.
I don't quite get that, and I mean, I'm pretty personable. I can probably get away with small talking through stuff. Certain people, I wonder how they get through those calls. I guess you find, like anybody else, you find a common thread and you talk about it, whatever.
They get choked up because they're meeting one of their favorite people, and they don't know what to say or they can't get it out. They can't express themselves.
Right.
It's hilarious, though, when you got a bunch of people on a Zoom call and you always have that one person that can't figure out the audio. Then you got the one person that won't shut up about COVID. Then you got another one that won't shut up about politics. And everybody's talking all over each other. Why everybody's doing shots or whatever, Gets a little out of hand at times.
It's a riot. Yeah,
it is a riot.
I still think people haven't quite figured out how the chain of communication goes because there's so much talking over each other. Like, there's got to be some way to put a button in that you like put a red button in. It's like you're next or whatever. So there's some sort of colored coordinated pattern that you can talk through so that there's not so much trying to get a word in edgewise, which if you've been on one of the Mo Zoom calls, you know that when Deb and I are on it, you can't get a word in edgewise for the whole time. So it's like,
well, that's where the entertainment value lies.
I guess so. Yeah. Right.
Speaking of getting hammered, man, give me a good on-stage drunk story. Like something stupid you did on stage while you were hammered.
Well, so because I was hammered, I probably don't remember much. And I'm not usually one to do stupid shit when I'm hammered. I mean, I do sometimes, but I've never really gone like too far. So for me, it's more playing the gig that hammered and not remembering the gig, even though it probably came out okay. That's all I can ever think of. Because, I mean, especially on side gigs, like, well, back in the early Mo days, I probably drank a lot more on the gig, you know. But, like, now I go to a side gig, I get fucked up. I might not even remember the end of the gig. And then, you know, talking to everybody the next day, it's like, that was freaking great. And I'm like, cool, because I don't really remember, you know. So, which is like kind of sad. Yeah, you know, I got pretty fucked up and can't remember the end of the night. But that I can play that way too is, I guess that's good because, you know, that's years of training, you know. So, but yeah, I don't really remember doing something super. I mean, I know I can remember stuff. I don't know how hammered I was, but I've played in my underwear a couple times. I know we did a Mo gig one time. Played some weird place. It was like maybe in Annapolis or somewhere out in. It was like a private party, or it must have been a radio show. It was something. It was, and we did this thing, and it was in this little house, and it was like 100 million degrees, and it was dripping in the walls. It was crazy, and so I took off all my clothes and played. And I'm sure because it was some side weird gig that I was hammered, and you know, so that would be the craziest thing I would do. I mean, I'm sure I've said stuff at Modowns before where I was hammered by Sunday night where I'm on stage, but I don't really remember it being too stupid or ridiculous. So.
What kind of underwear are you rocking when you're on stage? Tighty whities, boxers, you got bikinis, you got a banana hammock? I can see you in a banana hammock.
Boxer briefs, man. I'm a boxer brief guy. Been for a long time. So, yeah.
Have you ever wore a banana hammock?
I haven't worn a thong, but I have worn bikini underwear. My mother, or it's happened a couple times. I think my mom, when I was young, got me underwear for, not that young, but, you know, high school, got me underwear for my stocking or something. Not looking at the thing, and it was like bikini. And I'm like, I would never throw it out, so I'm freaking wearing bikinis around, you know. And then a few years ago, Deb did the same, and she got me bikinis. And I was like, actually, it's got to be like 15 years ago now because I don't have them anymore. But I wore them. You know, I was like, fuck it. Actually, they kind of make you feel sexy when you put them on. I kid you not. You're like, ooh, these kind of feel sexy.
What kind of material is it? Is it like silk? Because it's silk up against, like, your nuts feel kind of good, actually.
Yeah, it's silky. You know, it's kind of like that nice, soft. You know, it's not something heavy, and it's kind of soft and weighted, and you know. I've still yet to try Deb's underwear on to see what they feel like, but
you've never put on Deb's underwear? Not even just to bust her chops, or like, do you ever put on her clothes or anything? No, never once.
I don't think. No.
I think that's what you guys got to do tonight after your cooking lesson. Just get a little funky with it, bro. Start putting on her underwear, put on her lingerie, put on her teddy or nightgown, whatever you got to do. Switch it up a little bit, Vin. Come on.
I wish she was more into shit like that, but I would. She's just like, she'd be like, take that off. I'm going to bed. I'm having a hot flash. Get away from me. That's where we're at these days. So
yeah. So at this stage of the game, you've been married for so long. When she even looks at your dick, she's probably just laughing at it, right? She's like, "No, get that thing away from me."
No, it's either that or just get it over with. Yeah, she's more like that now. It's not more, you know. There's times when it's like, I'm going to bed, get away from me. But now it's just like, oh, you're not going to stop. Just get it over with.
Just hurry up.
Yeah, right. I don't care. You don't have to worry about me. Just take care of yourself. It's like, then it takes me long because if she's not into it, then I'm not into it. So
and you're like, what the fuck, right?
Yeah. Like, I'm not.
Then you start to lose it.
Yeah. I don't even bother usually. I'm like, forget it. You're not into it. I'm not into it. It's not happening.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we take that left turn. I knew it was going to go south sometime soon, and here it is. Here we go. This is what happens when him and I get together.
And we're not even drinking, unless you are.
We're not even drinking. No, I'm drinking tea, man. I'm drinking tea and Utica coffee. So I've been actually trying to be on a health kick lately. I've been working out so much and running a lot. Well, not running like how you and Al run, but right. You know, what I do is run the hundreds and then walk the quarters. You know, on a track.
Yeah, that's actually a really good way to increase your speed and your endurance. is the sprint, walk, sprint, walk, sprint, walk. Yeah, that's a good training method. It's actually a lot better. I haven't run in a while. I'm not playing hoop because the gym's closed, which I should at least go to a park. I haven't played hoop in 2.5 months.
You don't have a hoop at the house?
I did, but the pole broke, and I never got a new one to put up because I wasn't.
Yeah,
I
remembered one there.
Yeah, I was playing hoop at Skidmore every day or every other day, so it's like I didn't need the hoop anymore. But now we haven't played in months, so I have a park right down the road. I should just go down there and start shooting in all my free time.
Yo, for people that do not know, Vinnie could go play D2 basketball right now if he wanted to. He's that goddamn good. You got skills, man.
Yeah, I wish I were playing. Like, that's the thing. I've taken a while off, so first it'll take a little while for the lungs to come back, and then the shot, like, that's the other thing. The shot goes away. It's like golf, got to play all the time. But we'll get back into it. And I do have to. When we started this quarantine, Deb and I were doing yoga, and I was training with Madison's a freaking beast. She works out every day nonstop, and we did a couple workouts together. And I've fallen off with all the landscaping. I've fallen off, so I got to get back into it and running and stuff. I used to like running, and now, I don't know. I haven't done it in a little while, so we'll see. But good for you that you're doing it, because it's the quickest way to get in shape. By that, I mean, you don't have to do it for hours at a time. You go half-hour run, you're like 3-4 times a week, guarantee you're going to get in shape like pretty freaking quick.
Well, I'm also a lunatic, and I throw in exercises in the middle of that. So I've got this exercises where you spell out your name, and each letter is designated to a different exercise.
Oh, great.
So, yeah, Colenso and I have been killing it, man. Shout out to Colenso, by the way, because
man,
that kid, he keeps me motivated.
Yeah. So how many push-ups are you doing at a shot these days?
Well, and through the intervals, it gets well over 200 throughout like a 4-mile run, walk, one, for like an hour and a half.
200 push-ups with
killing it, bro.
Dude, that's
on top of other things too. But hey, this isn't about me. This is about you. And I want to know: is there a sport out there that you want to try? Is there something something you've never tried before?
Well, I don't know if I want to try it. Maybe I should try lacrosse. I've never played. We didn't have a team when I was in high school, and now it's like Niskuna is one of the best teams in the state year after year after year. And, one of the guys that lives in my house, my daughter's boyfriend, he's a goalie for Stevenson. So he's a D3 player. So I should probably give it a shot at some point. But I don't know. As you get older, the learning curve gets, worse and worse. So it might take me forever to figure it out, just because I don't have a lot left in the ability to learn anything, So what we've been doing, though, a lot lately here is the kids have gotten a little bit into hacky sack. So we've been every day getting in the circle. And I spent many, many years playing hack at high school, college, and then on the dead tour. And I got really good at it. So now I'm back. My skills are coming back for hacky sack. And so we'll have to do, if you did it a lot too, if you come down on one of the Saturdays for the thing, we'll get into a circle and we'll start showing our moves.
Yeah.
So
we went from weed circles to hacky sack circles.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, they were both combined for a long time, and then. But the kids, they're all stoners too a little bit, so they get into that, play some hacky sack.
Madison's boyfriend's a lacrosse goalie. You gotta have a couple screws loose to play goalie in lacrosse.
Yeah.
Right? No pads.
Yeah, it's insane. So, yeah. So
it's crazy. Vin, you ever get into a fist fight?
It's been a long time, but yeah, I'm a little wuss. Well, I mean, I'm a scrapper, so I can get by. But yeah, it's been a long time since I've been in a fight. So, but I had been in a couple. I usually win by some sort of cheating method about having somebody look at tie your shoes untied or one of those dumb moves, and then freaking give a couple sucker punches or something, and then run my ass off.
Yeah. You're one of those.
Yeah, Rob always wants to fist fight me, but I don't want to get into it with him.
Yeah, right. He's so tall. He probably just like give you the tombstone or like give you a suplex, and that would be it, man.
I usually try to just outrun him, like zigzagging around, freaking around the bus and shit. You can't catch me, sort of thing. But
that's hilarious. I can't picture you getting into a fist fight. That's why I asked the question, because you're just so wild, man. You're just always so cool, and I can't picture you getting angry enough to like actually hit somebody.
It's been a long, long time. So, my brother and I used to fight a lot growing up, but he used to just kick.
I'm sure.
I actually probably the last fist fight I was in was with him. I was 16, so that would make him 19. My parents went on vacation. He was bringing a date home, and he said, "Don't have anybody at the house." And of course, my parents are out, so I had a bunch of friends over. He comes home he freaking loses his mind, starts kicking the shit out of me. I mean, he was going to beat me into the hospital. He was beating me bad. And so, out of sheer, oh shit, I'm going to die, I threw a haymaker and I freaking connected with his face, like knocked his glasses off, put a big gash in his face. And then I'm like, oh shit, I'm dead. And when I think he really got mad then. And then he's like, oh shit, I'm going to kill him. And then that's where the fight stopped. And they picked me up and brushed me off, and and then he wasn't. And we've never gotten a fight after that night. Actually, that was the last time we ever fought. So,
and not just like arguments, right?
No, Matt and I, no, we don't argue about nothing.
He's another.
No, we're totally solid about everything. He's pretty non-confrontational, so he doesn't really disagree with much, and we don't ever get into discussions where we'd have to disagree, so.
I want to give Christy a little shout out right now because she's bringing up the pie fight. I want to organize the world's largest pie fight.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
You in?
I'm in.
Yeah, and I'm talking like whipped cream pies too, not the Barbasol shaving cream, like the whipped cream pies.
Whipped cream.
So the Guinness Book of World Records is 1,180 people for the largest pie fight. We could shatter that. We could do that in Modown next year.
Holy crap, that would be awesome.
Right? The world's largest pie fight.
That would be killer.
Literally.
I know, right?
What do you think, Cheo? I know G. Cheo's watching right now. Let's see what she thinks about it.
we gotta get it sponsored because that's a lot of whipped cream. So
that's a lot of whipped cream.
We'd have to get somebody to at least, maybe you can get Burn Dairy to sponsor it.
Good call.
So that we get all that whipped cream or something.
Good call. Like, think about
all that stuff, right?
Yeah, we could get a hold of that. Absolutely. I'm sure we can make things happen. We just need a place that we can all commiserate and throw pies at each other. I think it'd be hilarious.
Maybe we could get Chobani or one of them involved. They have a lot of milk. We could just get them their cream instead of, like, if they got to have cream that's going south for yogurt or something, so we can just whip it into a big and just start,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
See, I like it.
I'm just spitballing here, but
see, this is what happens, Vin. I'm trying to get a little brainstorming idea because we were thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? Let's just do it. And so we need to organize this, and hopefully, like next year, we're going to smash the record of the world's largest pie fight. Because think about it, Vin, 1,180 people. That's really nothing in our world, right?
Yeah, we can get to, as long as they're allowing 2,500 people to ever get together close to each other, then we can definitely have that happen. And if you advertise it at before, like, we actually, like, as part of the ticket or whatever, I guarantee it's going to up the numbers because people will want to just be involved in the fact that they want to be part of the largest whipped cream fight that's ever happened. So.
Yeah, there you go. And just think about all the sexual innuendos afterwards too. But that's for another conversation.
That's funny. You're thinking of that. Now I'm thinking of the Spunyans and how they'd be like, "Oh, this is great." So,
the trails of the splatters.
You say tomato, I say tomato.
But think about it. You're coming out of quarantine and we can finally all gather together. What great way to take out a little bit of your frustration than smashing a pie in your buddy's face. That's what I'm saying.
And then jump in a Jell-O bath with some that's got whipped cream all over her.
See, there's that left turn I was looking for, brother.
We could combine Jell-O wrestling and whipped cream pie fights. Well, you brought up the sexual part, and all I could think of is Jell-O. So it would be one big dessert fest, I guess.
Hey, our boy Nate's checking in. He's saying he got creamed at Modown before.
Nice. Nice. That's awesome.
Hilarious. Hey, everybody out there in Facebook land, if you could do us a favor and click the share button and help spread the word of the Disruption Network. And, of course, my good friend Vinnie Amico, my favorite Goomba. So, Vinnie, I've been doing this, I've been gathering a list of all my favorite Italian musicians.
Okay.
And I've got quite the list. And a big shout out to the Uncle Louie Variety Show, my boy Carlo Russo, for coming up with a lot of these ideas. We're going to do Italian athletes, and because of our roots, our heritage, very proud of our heritage, and Italian musicians. But there's so many Italian musicians that we actually have to break it down to singer, guitar player, drummer, right?
Uh-huh.
So, Vinnie, I am going to put 2 Italian entertainers against each other, and you have to pick one of them. And I'm going old school, and I only did 1 or 2 modern day, but I went old school because I figured you growing up Italian, I'm sure a lot of these artists were in your household, right? Like they were mine, and right? Because what, your parents listened to a lot of that music back then?
Well, my father was different, so remember that.
Yeah, that's true too. I keep forgetting you.
He wasn't listening to anything but jazz. So
correction, your dad is a freaking legend. Okay, that's the correction. All right, so a lot of these artists, though, Okay, so we're gonna start off. We're gonna pit 2 against each other. You have to pick one. Frankie Valli versus Tony Bennett.
Man, that's fucking hard. I would probably go with Tony Bennett.
Yeah?
Because I'll tell you why. Because he's still alive and kicking. He's killing it. Well, I mean, he's getting old, but he still does shit, He's a badass. He's 90 freaking years old, and he's still doing shit,
No doubt. No doubt. Okay, the next one, Louis Prima versus Lou Monte.
I would go with Louis Prima. I love that music.
Louis Prima?
I love his vibe, all the stuff in the Disney movies and stuff. I mean, outside of what he did, the fact that he did, I want to be, I want to walk like you. I love that freaking the stuff from the Jungle Book and stuff. It's just great. So, hey, look.
Hi.
Hi, Deb. There she is, sweetie. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm happy now that I get to see you. I didn't think I'd get to see you today.
I just got out of the shower.
The wind's blowing in. What happened?
She's fresh and clean for me. I'm just kidding. You there? Did we lose?
So fresh and so clean. Yeah, I kind of froze up for a second there, I think. But
well, we got our internet's pretty. Everything out here is kind of sketchy. Phone lines, internet, everything. So, all right, who's next?
We're all sketchy. Okay, so the next one is Sinatra versus Dean Martin.
God. I mean, Sinatra was one of the coolest, baddest ass guys, but Dean Martin was a drunk and funny. I don't know. That's a tough one to pick. I want to say I'm going to go with Dean Martin. Like it.
Yeah. Just because Dean was probably more of a party. Where Sinatra would probably go sneak off to go bang some chicks or something, where Dean would hang with you at the bar all night.
I would imagine Dean was probably more genuine a person than Sinatra. I don't know that. I didn't know them, but I'm saying it would come off to me that he's probably a little more genuine. For better or for worse,
Yep. All right, the next one, Frankie Avalon versus Bobby Darin.
Bobby Darin, because I don't remember much of what Frankie Avalon did, honestly. I mean, I know the same era, similar era, but.
All right, so the next one's the opera singers, Mario Lanza versus Pavarotti.
Pavarotti, because I'm more familiar. Plus, he's still doing it. I don't know if the other person's still doing it.
He's still alive?
Pavarotti? Isn't he?
Yeah. I don't know.
I thought he was. Oh, no, I'm thinking of, who am I thinking of? I'm thinking of Botticelli or whatever, but yeah, Pavarotti I would pick anyway.
All right, a little more modern day, John Bon Jovi and somebody who's half Italian, Steven Tyler from Aerosmith.
Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi? And now, because it's John Bon Jovi, right? Because he's hotter? Is that why?
No, I mean, Steven Tyler's kind of a shit show. Bon Jovi's always kind of had his shit more together. Plus, he does a lot for a lot of different causes and stuff, you know. He's kind of pretty involved. And he almost bought the Bills. He was going to buy the Bills and own the Bills until fucking Trump fucked it all up.
That's right. Yeah, you're right, too. John Bon Jovi seems like he's just an all-out good dude. But I think if we're going rock star there, though, my favorite Italian lead singer is Ronnie James Dio.
Yeah, Dio, man. We were in L.A. playing a gig at the House of Blues one time, staying at the Hyatt House across the street, and we're all going up to our rooms, and elevator opens up, and there's Ronnie James Dio in the freaking elevator. We're all like, "Hey, man, what's up?" It was awesome. One time I got to see, he's a little teeny guy, but got to see him, meet him. So,
did you tell him you're from upstate New York?
No, didn't get that far. We were all like, "Hey, what's up? We're playing across the street." That was kind of it.
Come check us out. We'll do Rainbow in the Dark, dude.
Why? Oh, is he from Rochester? Where was he? He was from Rochester or somewhere, right?
No, he grew up in Cortland.
Oh, right. That's
Cortland,
crazy.
Ithaca area. Yeah.
That's right. Fucking A, man. Dio.
And then, since you're a drummer and two of my favorite metal drummers, I pinned up against each other, and you got to pick one of them, okay? And that would be Mike Portnoy versus Dave Lombardo.
That's tough, man. It's tough.
That's the idea, Vin. It's supposed to be tough.
I'm going to go on Lombardo.
Lombardo?
Yeah, I mean, Portnoy is one of those guys that he does all that crazy stuff, and he's but fucking Lombardo, Slayer, man. Like, he was a freaking badass. He was one of the originators of that stuff.
Oh yeah, he's the what they call the Big Four. You've got Metallica, Anthrax, Slayer, and Megadeth is the Big Four when it comes to the thrash metal scene. Were you into any of that growing up, or no?
Nah, it was a little bit before, or I was a little before that. I got into the Dead, so I didn't really, like around 85 is when I started following the Dead around, and then then plus I was kind of in I was already like listening to fusion and getting into all that heady music-y stuff and listening to jazz, and then the Dead came around, and I got pretty into that and the Allman Brothers, and I kind of went down that, started getting more into the improv and the more longer musical stuff than the heavier stuff. So
what are you listening to when you're cooking?
We'll put jazz on sometimes. I don't listen to a whole lot of music at home. I mean, we listen to music when we sit at the pool, but that's it. And we listen to a lot of, believe it or not, like soft rock, what we consider soft rock now. We get into the yacht rock. I mean, it's just so easy to listen to stuff.
A lot of reggae.
No, we listen to a lot of stuff. We listen to reggae a lot at the pool, especially. Still listening to jazz. With the kids around, they just put on one of their playlists. So there's a lot of like newer hip hop stuff going. Milky Chance, Chance the Rapper, and all sorts of chances being taken over here. So there's a lot of newer sort of music, today's music going on. I don't know what a lot of it is, but there's a lot of that being played around here.
Was there any of it that made you go, who's that?
Yeah, some of it. Sometimes I'm like, this is good. What is this? And then they'll tell me, but I forget already. So, and a lot of times they don't know. They're like, I don't know. It's just on a play. It's just on the Milky Chance radio, or it's on Rex Orange County radio or some whatever. So it's like, oh, okay. So,
am I that old that I just don't know any of these artists? And just
you and me both, brother. You and me. So,
man, when did that all happen?
Some of it's it's kind of a mix between indie and a little more mainstream, but it's all kind of the hipper music to listen to, and not just the absolute shit mainstream stuff that's out.
You're right. There's a lot of garbage out there for sure.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, it's all about likes and subscriptions and stuff like that nowadays. It's not really about the talent.
Yeah, and it's what it looks like and not necessarily what it sounds like, I guess. If there's a hot girl or a hot guy in it, then it doesn't really matter what it sounds like.
Yeah. Our friend Betsy's checking in. She's saying getting your tan on right now.
Oh my God, I'm so dark right now, dude. I don't know if you can tell by the camera.
I can tell.
I'm freaking.
See,
I've been sitting in the sun like every day for about 5 days. Plus, I did a couple landscapes, so I am like, I won't get any darker than this all year, I don't think.
I gotta preface this by saying I told him to remove the shirt for this interview.
Of course, I obliged because I love having it on.
Yeah, get naked, brother. Hey, I love what you guys are doing in your backyard, by the way, on Sundays with Braids and Tony and stuff. You got to be having a blast doing that, cooking, a little playing.
It's awesome. Actually, I had been doing, as I think you saw before, a couple of the Vinnie's Kitchens live, right? And I thought about it, and then I'm like, I want to play live. That'll give us a good excuse and a good platform to actually get a band together and play. So we're going to continue to do it. I think we're not doing it this week, but I think we're going to bring it back next week. And I'm going to switch it up. It's not always going to be jazz. First 2 weeks were jazz because it was good to put together, and I love that band. You know, it goes well with the cooking. I have a couple other guys, like, I'll probably put Braids in it most times, and Tony, because Tony's so close. I mean, Tony lives 5 minutes from me, so but I want to do some more reggae stuff, and some we'll probably throw some acoustic dead in there and some stuff like that, and try to get that going. I'd love to do Floodwood, but we're not quite. There's some fences that need to be mended, I think, mended, so that we don't have to get in this conversation. So
yeah, we won't get into it. I won't get into the Floodwood drama, but are the neighbors enjoying it? They must love it.
Very much so. They're like, after the first one, I had never asked the neighbor that we're actually facing. So I saw him the next day, and I'm like, I hope we weren't too loud. He's like, that's the best Saturday I've had, the best barbecue day I've had in years. He just loved it. And my neighbor on the other side, they're on their deck watching every weekend, cheering. My friend Scott, who lives in the back, like on the back side, he's always on the deck cheering. And we have people running by. They say it's good excuses to ride their bike around the neighborhood so they can just listen to the music and ride. So people are digging it. So
I would love to be your neighbor.
And most times, not all the time, and we're digging it too. Like,
I think most time.
It gave us a great excuse to get together and play, and to bring live music, like actual live music, not something pre-recorded, and not to people on out there, so they can actually see a band doing it live, interacting and that. So, and we're trying not to. I hate to ask people for money, but the guys are traveling and stuff. And Tony and Jay don't work, so it's like they have no work right now. So I want to try to get people paid a little, something, to have some money coming in. So, if everybody that viewed threw in $1, we'd make a lot of money. Because we're getting a lot of views on that stuff. So it's like, holy crap, if we just said, hey, everybody pay $1 for this, we'd be fine. But it's good as it is. We have a lot of generous people that throw a bunch of money in, and we're just like,
absolutely, just
blown away by the generosity that people send money for that kind of stuff. So it's pretty awesome, and we just appreciate the support. However we can get it. People just watching, people enjoying.
Yeah. Throughout this house arrest, man, I feel like people have been super supportive of the artists that are doing on their live stream and being very generous. It's Absolutely. Cool to see. I mean, I know some artists that are doing okay, going live on their iPhone or whatnot. So it's good to see. And shout out to everybody supporting the arts right now too, man. I feel like the support has been huge right now, more so now than ever. And because we are on house arrest.
Yeah. And I think people are starting to realize, like, shit is so fucked up right now, Z, in the world, that, like, I think people are realizing, at least the people that we know and the people that actually appreciate stuff, finding out right now how much more how much more they can appreciate it because of how shitty everything else is around right now. It's like the only thing that's makes anybody happy right now is like music and art, Like everything else just fucking sucks. And, nobody can get their all that pent up thing out on sports. Whereas, guys like you and me that are super competitive, you got that music side of you, but sports gets a lot of aggression and anxiety out of you by watching and being part of that. And now that's all gone. So now that's doubled. So now the fact that the only real ways to get that out is to, watch some music or, be invested in some sort of art form is I think it's a big thing.
Yeah, I see hockey's going to come back though, and next month or whatever. Are you going to be a hockey fan? Because you're not really a hockey fan, are you?
When Deb and I lived in Buffalo, we used to go to a lot of Sabres games, and we got pretty into it. I love the game of hockey. It's just that because Sabres hadn't been really good for a long time. It just you get 2, 3, 4 weeks into the season and you're already in a losing record situation, and you just kind of stop watching. Just there's there's 4 sports going on at once, and when your hockey team starts losing, you're just fuck it.
Yeah, that's true, man.
If we lived in Utica, I'm sure we'd have season tickets to the Comets or what are they now, the Mohawks or the
No, the Comets.
Comets, yeah. So
yeah,
we would definitely be a part of that for sure. I think JoJo's still a part of all that, right?
You know what? I don't know, but I imagine. I mean, your cousin's a legend too in this town, just like your dad.
Right. Yeah, she's just always been involved in Utica sports, from back in the years of the Blue Jays. She
owned the Blue Sox.
Yeah, she was general manager of the Blue Sox for a while. Yeah.
Oh, that's right, general manager of the Blue Sox.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So because she came from, because she lived at, she was in Utica, then she moved down to.
That's such a great angle right there. Thank you.
Tidewater. Either the Tide. Oh, I don't know. I was doing something like
You're scratching your ass.
Yeah, right. So, no, it was my back, actually. It wasn't my ass, but close. But she was part of I don't remember if it was the Tidewater Mets or the Durham Bulls or something like that. And so she went from that franchise, and when an opening happened in Utica, that was when she went back and started with I believe that's when she started with the Blue Sox, and then she's part of that. And then I know she got back into the hockey thing, and with having Tiny's over there, the hockey team, I know for a while, I don't know if they still do it, but after every home game, they'd all go over there after the games, and there'd be a whole fan thing and team and drinking and eating and all that stuff. So,
legend, absolute legend, man. And think of the players that came out of there. Miguel Cabrera came out of that system, and Larry Walker's another one that came out of that system. And there's a few.
Barfield was the first. He was the one.
Jesse Barfield, yep.
He's in the Hall of Fame now, I think, isn't he? He might be. If not,
I don't think so.
Yeah, Jesse, but he was he was a major league star. He was
absolutely.
He was on the Blue Jays at 17 when we were I was 5 or 6, and I think it was the summer of 77 or 78 when he was in Utica. It was one of my last years in Utica before we moved. So
Jesse Barfield, baseball legend. Hey, Vin, Mo's got this competition. Well, not really a competition going on, but they're doing a little contest, right? You throw up some of your favorite moments and the first time you ever seen you guys and stuff like that. And I got to share my favorite moment. And it really has nothing to do with you guys playing other than I was on the destination. But if I could go back to that catamaran in Jamaica with everybody on the boat, with the woman balancing the trays of drinks on her head, and they were playing Brent Black and the girl dancing and just the party vibe on that catamaran, if I could do that every day, that's heaven to me. I hope I die and go to that because that was so much fun. That's my favorite moment of all time. That
boat ride and that day and going over and doing the acoustic show over at where was it that year? Was it at Margaritaville or was
Jimmy Buffett's? Yeah.
So that's just the best because for us, we're not just hanging with our family. I mean, we're with everybody. We're in there and we're hanging with all our friends, and it's a party. It's not you're not at a Mo show, and it's not us and them. You're all in it together. So.
Yeah, as the boys are checking in, they're saying that was absolute paradise.
Yeah, man, that was fun.
Unbelievable, man. I love that. And hopefully we could get back to doing that. Because if you guys announce that, I'm buying ticket number one. I'm in 100%.
Yeah, we're planning on another, that was the thing where you're like, well, this year was going to be Snowdown. And then next year we do Throwdown. And then, we're just trying to stagger so we don't throw so many destinations at everybody that there's only so much money, so it's like tough for people to do everything. And then, of course, Snowdown got canceled, so I think we're going to do that next year at this time. So we may be moving the Throwdown down another year, but I don't know. Depends on travel and, how all that goes. So
the future is definitely uncertain, but the memories last forever, brother. And you've definitely created so many great memories for me, man, and I can't thank you enough. Your whole family, your crew, your bandmates. I love them all, even Al. No, I'm kidding. Of course I love Al. I have to break his chops. But no, all you guys have been super supportive in everything that I do, and you treated me like family, and I can't thank you enough, man. And I love all you guys from the bottom of my heart.
Likewise, Z. And the thing is, I saw there was an Instagram post, and you said you're missing the pirate crew. And I was just thinking about that. I'm like, we go around a lot of towns and all this stuff. There's not one city that we go to or region, let's say, because you guys, deal with us from here all the way out to Rochester.
You're our home team, man.
That has one crew that does everything, and does it as well as you guys do. You don't see that in any other city. Usually it's just a bunch of union guys. I mean, granted, they all kind of work together. You guys travel as your crew. So if we could hire a whole crew, if we ever somehow or another got huge for whatever and ended up needing trucks and buses and arena, we could hire you guys as a whole crew in one shot and just be like, oh, we have our whole crew. And that's unprecedented and just doesn't happen, I don't think. So that's a testament to you guys.
Thanks, bro. And I'm
putting that bunch together and, making it work. So it's
thanks,
cool,
man. I'll tell you right now, my bags are fucking packed right now. So you let me know.
I know, right? So
Vin, I know you got to get off to that cooking.
I was going to say my bags stay packed. Just waiting for when we're going to go back down the road, but who knows when that'll be. So.
Your bags have been packed. I know you got to get off to that cooking lesson, brother, and I got to let you get going. And what are you teaching them how to make?
Chicken piccata. It's simple, but people don't realize, and I've done a couple of these on this lesson now, that chicken piccata is a delicious dish that you get in a lot of Italian restaurants it's like a classic. And you think that it's freaking hard to make because it tastes so good. And there's a certain texture to the sauce and a certain flavor that you get. It's the easiest dish in the world to make. It takes 5 minutes. So it's easy to teach because there's only 6 ingredients to the whole thing. It's just the process at which you make it and how you put it together. And it's then you're getting restaurant quality, #1 fucking chicken piccata made in 40 minutes, half hour. It could take up to an hour because my cooking sessions are actually that's part of that hang session because we sit there and bullshit the whole time while we're making food. So
nice.
And the thing is, when I teach chicken piccata, that also opens up to teach marsala, teach salsa. You can kind of teach across the board the lemon wine sauces or the any wine sauce you can teach by teaching piccata because it's all the same process. It's just a matter of what kind of wine you use and what you're adding to whether it's capers or mushrooms or sun-dried tomatoes or onion or shallot or whatever it is. The sauce process is all the same. It's just a matter of what you add to it. So it's an easy one to teach and teach a lot off of.
I freaking dropped out.
I thought so. I'm looking at the Disruption Network thing. It's just, it makes it for an easy everything. You can teach across the board with it. So,
Vin, one more thing before we get out of here, because that was kind of weird. I felt like I was stuck in a nitrous balloon for a second there. That was so weird. Anyways, Stacy's saying you couldn't afford us. And then she's saying we do it for Mo and we do it for beer.
That's awesome. I appreciate that. Well, I appreciate all you guys.
I love you, brother.
You guys are the greatest crew ever, and the fact that we all do it together, like it's kind of a testament to the region and Utica, Syracuse. You know, it's like upstate New York, like where there's a pride to it that we all have, that we all attach ourselves to too. That like it's the only place where that happens, where you have that crew, you have us wanting you as the there's that. It's just there's a whole. It's a whole. I can't explain it. It's
Love
just
it.
a thing. Yeah. So. But.
Well, the feeling is mutual, and much love to you, man. And before we get out of here, though, much love to EJA Moving Services, the professional movers. When you're ready to move and relocate, hit them up at ejamoving.com. Thank you to Utica Coffee. Our friends over at Saranac, try the green tea. The seltzer green teas are phenomenal. I love them. Try the peach mango. That's my favorite. Which one's yours?
I don't know. I think I like the peach mango and the lemon. The lemon's really good. So like I said,
the lemon is pretty good.
I drink a lot of those 100 IPAs, Damon. Oh, Dad just yelled out.
I'll let him know.
Damon, you know where we live.
Drop him off, Damon.
Wait. Deb just said we can't get them right now. Hannaford up here is out of green teas. They don't have them right now, and that's what the kids are all drinking them these days. I mean, by the kids, I mean Deb, and so.
Hilarious. Yeah, David, drop him off a couple cases. We'll definitely get him on that, man. Hey, Vin, thanks for hanging out with me, man. Hit me up. Let's go hang out one of these days. I'm going to shoot up to Saratoga and jump in Club Amico for a little while.
Yeah, man. Anytime. You're always welcome. So keep an eye out. Next Saturday night, probably we'll have braids up. So just get in the car.
Cool. I will. Awesome. Thank you, man. Much love. Bye, Debbie. Good to see you. And thank you to everybody out there in Facebook land. And thank you to Todd in the studio for helping us get out there and dealing with my Wi-Fi connections and shit. Sorry, Todd.
It might be me.
We'll see you tomorrow. Later.
See you, man.